All right, so this is the Social Studies Forward Exam question. It says, read the information in the box. It is based on part of the Declaration of Independence. Okay. So it says, we believe that all the people are created equal. People have rights that are given by God. Some of these rights are life, liberty, and the search for happiness. People create governments to protect rights, but when government fails to protect these rights, the people have the right to change or get rid of the government and to create a new government based on the Declaration of Independence. It says, according to the information in the box, that's this box, what is the main purpose of the Declaration of Independence? So we have these answers we have to pick. One of these is going to be absolutely the most correct answer, and the other ones will be kind of, or you might have some that aren't. So let's read. It says, to guarantee religious freedom in the new nation. Okay, so to describe how leaders are selected in the new nation, to demand power from the government of Great Britain, to explain why the colonies want to separate from Great Britain. Right. So if we look at this, okay. So looking at these three, let's go through and see what each says and if we can find information in the Declaration of Independence in this excerpt to support these. So to guarantee religious freedom in the new nation. It says we believe that all people are created equal. People have rights that are given by God. Some of these rights are life, liberty, and the search for happiness. People create governments, but when the government fails, they have the right to change or get rid of government and to create a new government. So, reading this, to guarantee religious freedom in the new nation, it could be a possibility because, there is mention of God and that he gave us these rights of life, liberty, and the search for happiness, right? But we're not sure that it's absolutely correct. It's a good answer, but we're looking for the best answer and the main purpose of the Declaration of Independence. So letter B says, to describe how leaders are selected in the new nation. So it does say how we have the right to change or get rid of government, who create a new government, but it doesn't explain how they're selected. It doesn't go through how to elect governors or certain Senate and the president, etc. So it is not B. Letter C says to demand more power from the government of Great Britain. So it does talk about government and, it doesn't really talk about power, but it does kind of say, that we have the right to change the government, create a new government, but it doesn't really talk about the government of Great Britain per se, right? They want the right to change or get rid of the government and create a new government. Well, the government they're leaving is Great Britain, right? Because that's when they came over, they're declaring independence from Britain. So I don't believe it would be C. Now, letter D says to explain why the colonies want to separate from Great Britain. So under Great Britain, they don't have life, liberty, and happiness, right? People create governments to protect rights. In Britain at this time, there was a king, right? So King George was the king. There was no government, right? It was the king and the king's people. So they wanted to separate. Basically, the Declaration of Independence was a declaration of our independence from Great Britain. So explaining why the colonies want to separate from Great Britain, well, they're going to be able to have life, liberty, and happiness. They can create governments to protect our rights. When the government fails to protect them, then people have the right to change or get rid of the government and then create a new government. So A was a good answer, but D is the best answer.